Okay, now let's get to work on tuning this real drum. We'll take what we learned in the model and we'll apply this to this drum. First thing you should always do is strike the crown ring all the way around with a hammer. 2 reasons. In between tunings, this is often all you need to do to pop your drum back in tune. What happens is there's connective tissue on the underside of the skin that can become glued to the bearing edge. So just by tapping this ring, you're helping the ropes overcome that friction, and that'll pop the drum back in tune. The other thing is that if you still have to tune the drum, it's making sure that this skin is free to move across that bearing edge, and you're less likely to break the head while tuning. Now, if you're nervous, you can always take a block of wood and hammer the block of wood. Just put the block of wood against your crown ring. So you'll hear this drum will probably go up just by doing this. I like to tune on the ground and straddle the drum. That way the drum is very secure, and I also have really good leverage for pulling the diamonds. So I've got my tuning rope loose. It was wrapped around the bottom of the bowl. Okay, so I've secured my tuning rope off a cradle at the bottom, and I'm going to be doing the locked method on this drum. Here's the 2 I want to bring together, as they have that continuous, they're joined to each other at the bottom. And one thing I like to do, a little trick, is to take a flat-headed screwdriver and slip it underneath the 2 verticals that I'm working on, and it just lifts them up off the drum, so it's a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to go over the 2, up through the middle, pull it down. Then I'm going to go back under the 2, pull it down, pull the screwdriver out now. And I'm going to take this sailing tool, which is called a tug cleat. And this is great because you can just slip the rope in it, and it clamps the rope, so you have some, so you're not going to hurt your hands. The other way you can do it is if you have a piece of wood, you can wrap it around like that. So now I'm using my tug cleat. I slip it in. You can purchase these off us. And I'm going to pull. And you saw how they flipped. This is the locked method. So my horizontal is trapped against the shell, and it won't untie. So move to my next pair, these 2. I'm going to use my screwdriver. Over the 2, up through the middle, pull it down, back under the 2. So after you've tied a few diamonds in between, you want to keep checking the tune of your drum. And when you think you might be close, to be sure, you don't want to over tighten, stand the drum up, hit it with a hammer again to help overcome the friction between the bearing edge and the skin. And I can hear this drum going up. I'm going to check my tuning. It's a little better, but it's not where I want it. Okay, now as you can see, I've come all the way around and I'm back to my first diamond. First I'm going to tie this off, and then I'm going to decide whether I have to do a second row or whether this first row has brought the drum up high enough that I can stop here. But I want to secure the tuning rope underneath this horizontal. Okay, so to get my end of my tuning rope underneath this horizontal, I often use a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. Try and tuck that underneath there. There we go. So that's secured under there. And then if I'm finished, I would just tie it off at the bottom on one of the cradles. If I was going to go and do a second row, I like to do a turnaround, and I go back the other way. So the next two that would be brought together would be these two. Second row over the two, up through the middle, back under the two, slide everything down, and now I'm going to start my second row. And you'll see, once you start the second row, every time you pull the horizontal, it forms a triangle shape, and that's why it's called pulling diamonds. The next two we would do would be these two. So again, over the two, up through the middle, back under the two, pull everything down. Now there's a lot more tension on this drum now, and they're getting a lot harder to pull. There's more diamonds. And as you can see, it's really not that hard to tune your drum. After you've done it a couple of times, it's going to become second nature. Keep your drum in tune and enjoy it to its fullest.